Hello, and welcome to Time Magazine's Person of the Year report. I'm speaking to our distinguished Person of the Year for the year 1450, Johann Gutenberg. Welcome, Johann.
Hello. I'm very pleased to meet you.
Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, I was born in Mainz, Germany, around the year 1398.
Okay. You don't know the exact year you were born?
I wish. But I really wasn't able to remember the exact year. I'm sorry. I was fairly young. So the best estimates I can get from my family would be 1398. They didn't really pay attention to years back then.
That's different. I see. Moving on. Do you have any special trainings?
Well, as a child and young adult, I worked with my father as a goldsmith. A goldsmith is a person that worked with metals, especially gold. I made lots of coins and other items.
Did you have any other skills?
Of course! I also worked with gemstones and jewels.
Oh.
And I even taught others how to polish gemstones.
Wow, that sounds really fascinating.
Oh, that's not all. Right around the time of my biggest invention of all, I was caught up in a scam where I made polished metal in mirrors that I sold to visitors. I told him that the mirrors would capture holy light. It wasn't my best idea, and I lost money that belonged to some pretty important people.
Well, I have to say I kind of understand why you lost a little bit of money there. But what happened next?
So, when my investors came collecting, I told them that I had a big secret that would be even bigger and better. But what? Suddenly, the idea came to me like a ray of light.
So was it the sun?
Well, I knew all about how to shape metal into different images. One of my best skills. And as a lifelong learner, I always wanted to study reading. But back then, the only way to get a book was to make a monk copy it for you.
Oh.
It was pretty expensive, to buy a book, because the monks could only write so much in one day.
That's true.
Yeah. It could take years to copy an entire book, cover to cover.
I guess I never really thought about it before.
Oh, yeah.
So what was the big idea?
Oh, yes, I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if there was a way to print words faster? And that's when I came up with the idea of movable type.
What? I don't get it.
You can't be serious. Movable type is what lets people print copies of books. You could have sets of letters and place them in specific order. Then create a book with those letters out of ink, like a stamp or print.
Oh, okay.
Once the letters were in order, you could make many copies of that page. So a Bible may have taken monks years to copy, and you'd still only have just one. With movable type, it might only take a year to print an entire book, and I can make as many copies as I wanted. Yeah, just like that. All at once.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So what's the big deal about that?
Big deal. Jish. This opened up the ability for anyone to own a book.
Oh.
Pamphlets, newspapers, or signs. Before, you had to be incredibly wealthy. Yeah. Incredibly wealthy, or lucky to even own just one book. With movable type, it became affordable to have a book or two, or maybe even more.
Wow.
This led to my invention of the printing press. Which let me make multiple copies. Just imagine, if I wouldn't have invented movable type, we would have never had mass-produced books, newspapers, science pamphlets. You get it? A modern-day copy machine is just a copy of my original idea.
Guess I never really thought of it that way.
Way back in the 1450s.
Wow.
Do you make copies?
Sometimes I do.
Yes, I make copies. Well, copies. In fact, my invention at the time is compared to the internet today. Copies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Kind of like our internet spreads information quickly to other people.
You've got the idea.
Wow. Now, how in the world did you come up with an invention like this?
Well, It wasn't new. Others had tried before me, but they weren't successful. With my background in metalworking, yes, I developed a mixture of metals called an alloy.
I think I've heard of that before.
I had to make each letter by hand.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. Then I came up with a combination of ink. I put it in. And they were still legible on paper. Finally, I had to build the printing press. It took lots of time.
Wow.
That's a small one.
That's a pretty complicated idea, though. So you put the letters in here
You've got to...
in order, and then I can make
Break
as many copies as I want.
Like a copy machine.
Wow, that's pretty great. So, what else can you tell me?
Oh, I have so much to say. You got lots of
I
work.
knew you would. That's why I invited you, and that's why you're our Person of the Year.
Well, one of the things I invented was a Gutenberg Bible.
Interesting.
I worked with another man to print a Bible. Around 1455, we started work. Lots of work. But it was a lot of trouble. It had 2 volumes, the old and then the new. It would have 42 lines per page. And 2 volumes would be 1,282 pages.
That's a lot of pages.
That's a lot of pages. It would have 2,000 letters. That's a lot of letters.
That's a lot of letters.
Down every page. I had to create 290 pieces to type, including capital letters and lowercase letters, and punctuation. We printed 210 copies.
That's amazing. So then what happened?
Well, the man I went into business with got a little impatient, you know.
Sometimes that happens.
He made some pretty big investments and took longer to pay him back than I thought. He sued me.
No way.
He did. And so I didn't really make any money on the Bible. But
That's a shame.
he became very wealthy.
That's a very big shame.
Well, yes.
That's definitely not fair.
You're telling me. You're telling me. But it worked out in the end. I found a new investor and became very skilled and trained others. And I made money. And I was happy. I am happy.
Well,
I'm
thank
back.
goodness. Thank goodness.
Yes. What else?
So anything else that you would like to share?
Well, in 1465, I have so much more to share.
I knew it.
The Archbishop gave me a pension for the agreeable willing service.
So kind of like you retired.
It was time. But then I died in February 3rd,
Gosh.
1468.
Wow, you didn't really get to enjoy your retirement very long, did you?
No, my investor inherited everything. But the Archbishop wouldn't let the doctor move my printing press.
Ha, see?
He's smart. Mons is known to be the birthplace of the printing in Europe. And I will always be the father of the invention that truly changed the world.
Well, Johann, it's been a pleasure talking to you today.
You too.
Johann Gutenberg, inventor of the printing press. It's Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 1450. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.